Hi there grade 9s and welcome back to WorksheetCloud Maths and to our second lesson in surface area and volume. And today we are going to look at the surface area and the volume of a triangular prism. In our last lesson we looked at the surface area and volume of a cube and a rectangular prism, and today we're going to go on to triangular prisms. So let's have a look at the surface area first. Okay, so there is our rectangular prism. As you can see, it's made up of bases, which are the end parts there and there on the other side, being triangles, and those triangles will always be the same size or the same measurements. And then it is made up of three rectangles. That's the one there, there's the one on the bottom and the one on the other side. Okay, so let's have a look. A triangular prism has two triangular faces and three rectangular faces. So in other words, two triangles and three rectangles. Okay, and they are all put together to form a triangular prism. Okay, it's called a triangular prism, as you know, because of the triangle shape on either end. And we will call those bases for now. Right, so there's the triangular face and there's the rectangular face. Now, it depends on the triangle shape as to the measurements of each rectangle. So if your triangle is an isosceles triangle, it would mean that the two rectangles either side of those equal faces will be the same measurements. If it's an equilateral triangle as the base, then all the measurements of the rectangles will be exactly the same. If it's a scalene triangle, each rectangle will have different measurements. Okay, so to find the surface area of a triangular prism, you need to find the area of each of the rectangular faces and find the area of the triangular face of one of them and double it. Okay, because the triangles are always going to be the same size, it means that you will find the area of one of the faces and then you will double it, because then you will get both the faces. And we need to then find the area of the rectangular face here, the one on the other side, the one underneath, and add them all together. Okay, so to find the surface area of a triangular prism, you find the area of each of the rectangular faces, and then you find the area of the triangular face and double that, and then you take them all and you add them together. So remember the formula for the area of a triangle, which we need to remember now, is half the base times the perpendicular height. Okay, so if we've got that, we work with that first to find the area of one triangular face, and then we double that, and then we add it to all the areas of the rectangular faces. All right, so let's see if we can work with this. Here is a triangular prism, and we've got the measurements there. We can see this is an isosceles triangle, so these two sides are exactly the same length, which means that the area of this rectangle and the area of that rectangle will be the same, but the area of the base rectangle won't be, or the bottom rectangle, let's call it that. Okay, so we're going to go, the surface area is equal to 2 half base times height. That gives us both the areas of the triangles. And then we're going to say 2L times B because of this rectangle and this rectangle being the same. And then we're going to add on the one at the bottom. Okay, so we've got half the base, which is 12 centimeters, times the height. Remember, we have to know what the perpendicular height is. If we don't, we can't work out the area. Okay? And then we're going to go plus 2 times 25 times 10, so this is 25 centimeters there, times 10 centimeters, and there's two of those faces, plus 12 times 25, because that is the measurement of the third rectangle. So let's go ahead and work that out. Well, the easiest thing to do is we can either go half times 12, which is 6 times 8, or we can go 12 times 8 and halve that. It's going to be the same both ways. So 12 times 8, or half times 12, first of all, is 6. 6 times 8 is 48 centimeters squared. Okay, and then we've still got to double that. And then 25 times 10 is 250 centimeters squared. And we're going to double that because we've got two faces with that measurement. And then 12 times 25 is going to give us 300 centimeters squared. Okay, we then carry on working that out. 2 times 48 will give us 96 centimeters squared. 2 times 250 gives us 500 centimeters squared, and then we add on our 300 centimeters squared. We end up with 896 centimeters squared, and that is the total surface area of that triangular prism. Okay, everybody happy? Right, let's look at another one. Here we go. It's a completely different shape. As you can see, look, this is a scalene triangle. Okay, this is also a right angle triangle. That's a right angle there. And so just to say, because it's a scalene triangle, all of the rectangles are going to have different measurements. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to work out the area of the triangles, and then we're going to have to add on the area of each specific rectangle. So we've got half times 4 times 3, and that all doubled. Then 11 times 5, which is this top surface. Then we've got 11 times 4, which is the underneath surface. And then we've got 11 times 3, which is the one at the back here. Okay, so let's work it out. Right, so we can say half times 4 is 2, 2 times 3 is 6 centimeters squared. We're still going to have to double that. 11 times 5 is 55 centimeters squared. 11 times 4 is 44 centimeters squared. And 11 times 3 is 33 centimeters squared. All right, so we're going to then double our 6 to get 12. Add all the others up, we get 132 centimeters squared. Add the two together, and we end up with 144 centimeters squared. So just to go over it again, this is a scalene triangle, so all our rectangular faces are going to be different measurements. Okay, as you can see, I go ahead and I work out the area of the triangle. As I know, half base times perpendicular height. I double that because the triangles are both the same area, they're the same shape, and then I work out for each individual rectangle what the area of each individual rectangle is. I can't double anything, I just have to work it out because all of their measurements will be different. Okay, and that's how we ended up with our answer of 144 centimeters squared. All right, let's have a look at another one. Here we go. Here we are told, because we can't really see, that that is a right angle there, which means that that would be the perpendicular height. Let's carry on, work out the hypotenuse first, because we are not told the length of the side. Can you see? We've got that side, we've got that side, and we've got that side. Okay, so we can say we need this side because to work out this rectangle. Okay, so hypotenuse is equal to 5 squared plus 8 squared. There you can see 5 squared plus 8 squared. So the hypotenuse squared, because that's Pythagoras, remember that. Okay, we've got 25 plus 64, that's going to give us 89. We've got to use our calculators here to find the square root of 89, and you'll probably have to round off. So round off to the second decimal place is 9,43 centimeters. Okay. That means that this side here is 9,43 centimeters, which we now can work out what that area is. We can work out what that area is because that is 3, and then we can work out that surface area there. Okay, so 2 times half of the base times the perpendicular height, which would be 8 times 5, and then we're going to add on 2L times B and 1 times B. L times B. Okay, so let's carry on. That one is actually wrong because this is a scalene triangle. So it's not 2L times B. Okay, anyway, let's go on. We've got half of 8 because that's the base, times by 5, so it can be 4 times 5, which is going to give me 20. And then I'm going 5 times 3, 3 times 9,43, and 5 times 8. Everybody see that? Shouldn't be 5 times 8, I don't think. Just fix that last bracket for us. It shouldn't have been 8 times 5. It should have been 3 times 8 or 8 times 3. Okay, so let's carry on. We've now got 20 centimeters squared there because I've worked that out. Remember, I still have to double it because that's the surface area of that top triangle, and I need both of them together. 5 times 3 is 15. 3 times 9,43 is 28,29. and 3 times 8 is 24. That should have said 24. Okay, let's carry on. Let me fix it first. About that last mistake, guys, but I fixed it now. It's 24 centimeters squared. Please don't forget that all your measurements are square measurements because we are finding out area, the surface area of the whole shape. So we can carry on now. We've now got 2 times 20 is going to give me 40 centimeters squared. Add all of those together, which are all the rectangles, and I'm going to get 67,29 centimeters squared. Add that together, it's going to give me a total surface area of 107,29 centimeters squared. Sorry about all the mistakes on that one. Let's carry on. Right, you try this one. There is a triangular prism. I want you to pause the video and I want you to try and work out the surface area of that triangular prism all on your own. And when we come back, we can go over it. Right, let's see how you did. Okay. So first of all, we've got to work out the hypotenuse because that is going to help us work out the surface area of this rectangle. All right, so we're going to go hypotenuse squared is equal to 9 squared, which is that side, plus 12 squared, which is that side. Okay, which gives me 81 plus 144, and that is 225, and that is the hypotenuse squared. So we have to square root that, and it's going to give me 15 centimeters. It works out to a nice round number, no commas, no places after the comma. Right, so that side is 15 centimeters. So we now have to do 2 times half the base times perpendicular height, which we've got 12 and 9, so half the base would be 6. And then we're going to have to work out 18 times 15 because that's that side, and then 18 times 12, and then 9 times 18. Let's see. Okay, so we've got half times 12 is 6. Like I said, 6 times 9 would give me 54, and then I have to double that. Be 18 times 15. That's, as I said, it's this top surface. Then 18 times 9, which is that back surface, and then 18 times 12, which is the bottom surface. Okay, guys, please don't be afraid to use your calculators. I don't think any of us know what 18 times 12 is in our head, and it just takes so much longer to work it out on a piece of paper. So just use your calculators for this. All right, so we've got 54 centimeters squared, as I said, and we've still got to double that. But we've got 270 centimeters squared plus 342 centimeters squared plus 216 centimeters squared. Double your 54, it's going to give you 108 centimeters squared. Add all the other areas up together, you're going to end up with 828 centimeters squared. Add those together. Your total surface area for this shape is 936 centimeters squared. Right, now let's look at the volume of a triangular prism. We've looked at the surface area, and I'm sure you've all picked that up very quickly. Remember, if you've got any queries so far or any questions, to email that question through to grade9@worksheetcloud.com. Okay, and somebody will get back to you with an answer. All right, now let's go on to volume. Okay, we're going to look at the volume of this shape. And remember, the volume is the amount that the amount of space that the shape takes up. Okay, so we're going to work out the area of the triangular base of the shape and then multiply it by its height. So this is the area of the triangular base, and that would be its height. Okay, it's the height of the triangular prism. Right, so there's the triangular base, as I said just now, and there's the height. Okay, so you can imagine if you put this triangular prism on the base as the triangle, then that makes the height where it is. Okay, that makes that the height. If we flip it up and we put that on its base. Okay, so that's why I called it a triangular base in the beginning. It's because we can understand how to work out the volume from that. All right. Remember, in a rectangular prism, it's length times breadth times height. Why length times breadth? Because again, it's going to work out the area of the base, and then you just times it by the height of the shape. So here we're going to have the area of the base times the height, and I've called the height, I've labeled it capital H. So so that we don't get confused with the perpendicular height. Right, so in this triangle, the area of the base would be half base times perpendicular height. You can see there I've labeled the perpendicular height with a lowercase h. Okay, so here we've got half of the base, which is 3 times 6. So here it would be easier. We can say 1.5 times 6, or we can say 3 times 6 is 18 and find half of that. So half of 18 would be 9 centimeters squared. The 8 is still 8 centimeters. There's our height of our triangular prism. And because we're now timesing centimeters squared by centimeters, we're going to get centimeters cubed. All right, so 9 times 8 is 72. Centimeters squared times centimeters gives me centimeters cubed. Right. Okay, let's have a look at another one. Here we go. We are told the height is 6 centimeters here. That is the base, and that is the height of the whole triangular prism. Remember, this is the perpendicular height of this triangle. So let's carry on. We're going to say volume is equal to the area of the base, so that's the triangle, the area of the triangle, times the height of the whole shape. Okay, so we've got half base times perpendicular height times the height of the whole shape. Half times 4, there's your base, times, it shouldn't be times 7, it should be times 6. Let me just fix that quickly. Guys, sorry about all the mistakes, but I fixed that for us. So it's half times 4 times 6, so you could say 2 times 6, which is 12, and then 12 times 12. So we've got here, working this out, we're going to end up with our centimeters squared, as you can see. So 12 times 12 will give me 144 centimeters cubed. Please remember, when we are finding surface area, our unit of measurement is squared. When we are finding volume, our unit of measurement is cubed. Okay, so you try this one. There we have the shape. I want you to work out the volume of this and pause the video, work it out, and then we'll come back and go over and see how you did. Right, let's see how you did. Okay, so we've got volume is equal to the area of the base. Remember, here's the area of the base. We are given the perpendicular height here, and then times the height of the shape. Okay, so the area of the base times perpendicular height times the height of the shape is your formula. We're going to go 10 times 8,3, as you can see there. 10 is the base, so this tells us actually that is an equilateral triangle, because here's 10 and that side is also 10. Okay, so we've got 10 times 8,3. That's going to give us 83 centimeters squared, and then we've got to halve that. Okay, let's carry on. That bracket gives you 41,5 centimeters squared. You still have to times it by the height of the shape, which is 14, and you're going to end up with 581 centimeters cubed. Remember, centimeters squared times centimeters going to give me centimeters cubed. All right. Right, now with this same shape, let's work out the surface area. Okay, we've worked out the volume of this shape, let's work out the surface area. So we're going to go to half base times perpendicular height, because we've got two triangles that are exactly the same, and then we have to work out the surface area for each triangle. Now, because it is an equilateral triangle, you can work out one surface area and for each rectangle, and then add or times it by 3, or you can work it out separately. It really doesn't matter. You're going to end up with the same answer anyway. Okay, so we've got 2 times half times 10 times 8.3, half the base times the perpendicular height. Okay, and then you're going to add on 14 times 10, another 14 times 10, 14 times 10. If you had written it 14 times 10 all times by 3, absolutely perfect. Remember, you can do that if it is an equilateral triangle. If it's not, then you have to look and see, is it an isosceles triangle? Then you times it by 2 and add on the other rectangle. If it is a scalene triangle like we have been working with, you've got to do all 3 rectangles separately. Okay, let's carry on. We're going to work out the what this bracket gives me. It's going to give me 41,5. Okay, because you can say half of 10 is 5. 5 times 8,3 is 41,5 centimeters squared. Work out each of these brackets. It's 140, 140, and 140, and each of them is centimeters squared. Multiply your first bracket by 2, and it's going to give me 83 centimeters squared still. And then I have to add on 420 centimeters squared, because remember, it's surface area. Add that together, and we end up with 503 centimeters squared. Right, guys. Thank you so much for watching today's video. There's a nice little activity that's attached to this. Don't forget to do that, please. And once again, if you have any queries or any questions, to please send your email through to grade9@worksheetcloud.com. Right, I will see you next time, and next time we're going to be looking at the surface area and the volume of a cylinder. So I think that's going to be quite exciting. Right, guys, keep well, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye for now.